Hello everyone and welcome to another video. In this game, I want to show you how difficult it is to play against Graves in general, as the champion is very broken. Even if you go damage or tanky, it's still a tough matchup. This game is proof that feeding or falling behind is not an excuse to lose the game. This is one of the hardest situations you should usually avoid. We both started in the same direction, and finished around the same time when the scuttle crabs spawned, leading to a major play with both teams collapsing. The issue was that things got random. Bot lane was already fighting, mid lane was slightly pushed. Now, there was an option to let it go, but I decided to just go with the flow. This encounter showed us that both teams were solid. No one died. It was a 4 versus 4, and everyone used their summoner spells. I'm not sure if they managed to get the scuttle crab, but we all survived. Now, there's a small issue. I'm up against Graves, and his built-in stacking armor is much better than mine early on. For instance, my best option is to get some armor or health, but he can buy a serrated dirk with just 1100 gold, which is a huge power spike for him. That's why I'll play more cautiously until I reach better itemization. What we feared just happened. The funny part is that Graves was planning to gank mid, then clear his jungle, but he failed the mid gank, forced our mid laner to back, and then randomly decided to face me around the wolves. It was a close fight. He survived with little HP, even though our build wasn't impressive. What really hurt me was that he landed his skill on the wall, dealing a lot of damage. But regardless, I expected this. It's totally fine. We're building for the mid and late game, not the early game. So don't tilt, don't flame, just be patient. Ask your support for help, because if he keeps invading, we'll have a tough game ahead. So far, so good. Thankfully, this Fiddlesticks is the type that roams, and our AD carry is patient, which is a blessing considering the circumstances. He's playing Caitlyn, and Caitlyn is one of those champions that are inherently broken. Riot seems to want us to understand the power of AD carries, which is why they'll make one broken, create a series of buffs around it, then nerf it randomly, only to buff it again. Caitlyn, in particular, is just on another level. I can't even explain how broken she really is. At this point, I started regretting my choice of going with the Undying build against their composition. The issue is that I felt it was the right call, but we just don't have the damage, and we are lacking heavy crowd control against a high damage composition. I was also a bit ambitious in my vision of how Graves would walk into the push. I imagined that I would deal my damage to him while Caitlyn would also attack at the same time, and he would die before being able to kill anyone. That was a bit too much of an assumption, but let's say it's fine even if it's not for the sake of our own sanity. Now, if you look at our items, I'd call it the dumpster collection. We only have fast boots, which will just help us reach our deaths quicker. Tier start, to express our salty feelings regarding the early game, and just stacking Grasp of the Undying and playing the slow game. The issue is I've died multiple times and got counter-jungled, but thankfully my team is around for objectives. This is like a change in flavor. Usually I'm ahead, doing objectives before any issues, and then the team are the ones struggling. In this game, it's the reverse. I'm not ahead, I'm the useless one. My team is helping me, and luckily, even if Mordekaiser sends me to the death realm, I'm planning ahead to stay alive and building like this my new home because I need a way to counter Mordekaiser while staying viable against threats like Graves. The only solution is to be patient until we reach the mid-game. At this point in the game, I'm totally fine with trading kills because eventually we'll hit a ceiling. Once I reach my 2 core items, I'll switch it up. Instead of going with Winter's approach first, I'll go with Frozen Gauntlet. Why? Because Graves is the issue. After doing his damage, he drops his smokescreen and you can't see where he's going. The plan is to slow him down, so even if he tries to escape, he'll be slowed long enough for us to exit the smokescreen and catch up. I'm also maxing my heal for sustain. The idea is to drag Graves into a long fight. Either I kill him, or I stay alive until my team arrives. You should always think of your spells as a source of income. For example, if my ultimate stays on cooldown for 2 minutes, and I use it after 1 minute to get gold, is that worth it? The answer is yes. Because if those 2 minutes pass without using it, I've wasted an opportunity to gain valuable gold. On the flip side, there's the risk that when a team fight happens, and you don't have your ultimate, you might die, and potentially take your team down with you. It's a risk you have to weigh carefully. In this situation, we're already not contributing much, so any gold I can get, even at the cost of my life, is welcomed. Finally, we've reached a solid power spike. Now we can survive, and in the next upcoming minutes, we'll be unstoppable. Shields, counter mages, and Frozen Gauntlet will help us extend fights in duels, especially against Mordekaiser in the Death Realm or even in the jungle against Graves. At this point, I can catch anyone, so if my team is near, I should confidently engage, no matter who the target is or how the fight looks. As they say, it is payback time. I was hesitant about continuing with Baron or helping the team, but I considered that I wasn't the most useful player, and Ryze was permanently splitting the whole game. If Caitlyn is dead, it will be basically just me, Teemo, and Fiddlesticks, and most of us in actual gameplay were hiding in bushes, waiting for a better opportunity. So, I decided to leave Baron for now and help the team, and it turned out to be the right call. The thing with predictions is that you never truly know what's correct until it happens. Even if the odds are in your favor, you can't be sure until you see convincing evidence that your decision was the right one. After taking down Graves, which was oddly satisfying, we decided to take a risk since Graves was dead, making it the perfect moment to go for Baron. We were lacking damage, and I was hoping Caitlyn would spawn before we finished the buff. All in all, it turned out to be the right call. The enemy had no vision, they backed to heal, and we had just enough damage to secure Baron before they could react. Now I can say with 100% confidence that we are no longer useless. It was a tough game at first, not going to lie, but we made it through against all odds. I can now 1 versus 1 Mordekaiser in his realm, chase down Graves and maul him down. This all happened because the team helped us pull it together. It's a rare sight, doesn't happen every time, but sometimes the game gives you a chance to truly enjoy it. You don't always need to be the one to carry, but one thing you should ensure, you're not the one who loses the game. If everyone adopts this mentality, the League community will be much better in the future. The poor enemy team, they're flaming each other, blaming everything on Graves. The one who was ahead the entire game couldn't carry, and now his team has completely collapsed on him. Fiddlestick's support turned out to be a broken pick, and with our 2 items and some change, we're almost unkillable. For Graves to take us down now, he'd need 5 items, while we're surviving easily with just 2. At this point, it's impossible for him to win a 1 versus 1 in the jungle. As you might have guessed, this was the last play of this game. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and drop a like if you're new to the channel. Until next time, take care everyone, and peace.